All right, if you are interested in buying, selling, or investing, or you already own real estate in the Boise area, here's the top 3 things you need to know through the end of March 2025. Number 1, inventory is up year over year and month over month. Pendings are pretty much flat and closings are up as well. We're going to dive into the average days on market it takes to sell a home and how many months of supply we have. So if you're interested in that, watch the rest of this video. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the data. So as always, we're going to zoom in to this top left quadrant here and take a look at what's going on. So currently, or through the end of March, we got 856 homes that are on the market today. So about 28% higher than the same time last year, which sounds like a big jump, but the reality is, we had really low inventory this time last year. And honestly, 856 homes is actually pretty low for us as well. We had 653 last month. So that's about a 29% jump month over month and about a 28% jump year over year. As we come down to these black and gray lines, you can see that this March of 2025, we closed 425 transactions. Same time last year, there was 400 closed sales. And then, of course, our pendings were pretty much equal, 496 this year, 497 last year. So not much really changed there. As we go down, we can see our average sold price historically. You can see we're pretty much about where we were this time last year. I mean, we ended 2024 at $610,000. We're basically there right now. This is taking us back to 2022. We had that little dip in 23. We corrected, and now we're pretty much flat. So that's really interesting from a pricing standpoint. I would predict that if inventory continues to rise, we will obviously see some softening in prices. So, we'll have to see. If we keep getting 28% bumps month over month, you can bet that you're going to see prices have to get more aggressive to see who's actually going to sell. So backing out a little bit, you can kind of see as we look at this chart, we've got 1.8 months supply of inventory as it pertains to resale. When we come over to new construction, there's 3.3 months supply, 884 listings active versus 856. So, pretty much if you combine those two, we're about 2.5 months supply for all of Ada County. The average days on market is 34. So that's how long it's taking right now for you to sell a home in the Ada County area is 34 days, which is very, very, very fast. Historically, we've gotten lower than that, but we've also been way higher. I mean, I remember being in the hundreds of days to sell a home on average. So this is still moving super quick. And as we continue to dig through here, some of the other numbers I like to peek at is what is our average sold to original price ratio? So the 97.2% is what it's showing. So if you listed a home at $100,000 on average, if you did price reductions or negotiated, you would end up at $97,200. And obviously you can adjust that based on whatever price point you're looking at. You can see when you get into these higher price points, 2 million plus, we're actually having to see a lot of price corrections. Most of those are taking place through the agents on the MLS. They're actually going in and reducing the prices. Some is through negotiations as well, especially if the days on market gets up higher. But you can see right now, if you're going to be over that 1.5 million mark, you're going to be on the market for a couple months. Versus if you're under 500 grand, you're going to be 30 days or less. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on there. The last thing I would say, just in market in general, is that rates are still pretty positive from, currently like a 30-year fix is around 6.5% or so. That's pretty good because we've gotten higher than 7.5%, just in the last 6 months. So if we continue to see easing in the 10-year Treasury yield, and I can actually pull it up for you if you'd like to see it. But basically, if we continue to see easing in the 10-year Treasury yield, you're going to be in a position where you actually see rates continue to come down. So that's the number one thing that we are following, and that's exactly what we end up following when it comes to. Let me get this switched out for you so you can see it. Oops, there we go. So you can see the 10-year Treasury. This is essentially what's happened over the last month. The more dramatic the economic news gets, typically the worse it gets, the better the 10-year Treasury. So we've had a lot of volatility in the last week when it comes to the stock market as it relates to tariffs. So with all that volatility in the stock market and most of it being negative, a lot of money coming out, that money is fleeing towards bonds. That, fleeing towards bonds is driving that interest rate down. So they're able to sell those for a lower interest rate because the demand's there. What does that do? It ultimately lowers our 30-year fixed rate. If you have questions on any of this stuff, reach out to your favorite City Trees real estate agent. We'd love to answer it for you. All in all, it's still a pretty positive market from a buyer and seller perspective. If I was a seller right now and I see, inventory going up 28%, I would consider getting my home on the market right away. And I would also consider getting it priced to sell. I would want to make sure that I'm very competitive with the market. Because if inventory was to continue to rise, then you're in a position where you have to be one of the top one or two choices for the buyers out there. So I would be talking with my real estate agent and really focusing on what's the competition. That's the number one thing I would be doing if I was a seller right now. What does my competition look like? Now, some areas, I comped out 9 homes yesterday. And when I'm rolling through those homes and figuring out pricing, I'm looking at active listings. Some of those, there was nothing at all. There was like 10 or 15 sales in the last 12 months, nothing for sale today. And then some of them had a lot of homes on the market. So I would really be looking at that. And if there's a lot of homes on the market that I'm competing with actively, then I need to make sure that I'm priced aggressively. Historical sales can help us understand where it's going to comp out at from a appraisal standpoint. But in terms of getting it sold today and winning the competition, you want to make sure you're looking at active listings. Now, what does this mean for buyers? Well, for buyers, I would really be taking advantage of the fact that we finally have some homes to look at. And maybe you don't have to scramble and buy the first house you see because it checks some of your boxes. You might be able to look. So I would talk to my buyer agent, my agent representing me on the buy side, and I'd say, hey, look, I appreciate you showing me all these homes that are active. How many have sold or gone pending? That's a better question. How many have gone under contract in the last 30 to 60 days? And if the answer is basically 0, what does that mean? Well, it means a couple of things. Like if there's only 1 on the market and none have gone under contract in the last 60 days, that means there's very few out there. So I might need to buy this one right away. But if you've got 10 on the market and I look over the last 60 days and I can see that 30 or 40 sold, now I know that, there's going to be options for me. So it can help me to make an informed decision and maybe remove some of the emotion. Like, will there be another home like this out there? Obviously, a lot of this depends on price point. But this is why now more than ever, you want to have an experienced agent who understands all the nuances of a fast-paced moving market like this. Again, reach out to your favorite City Trees real estate agent. We'd love to help you with your buying, selling, and investing needs. Thanks for watching.